Alright, for my motor learning project, I'm going to be applying Bernstein's theory of freezing degrees of freedom to a ring muscle up that is a very high skill gymnastics movement in CrossFit. This theory benefits athletes by breaking down complex motor skills into simpler motor skills that can be learned by the body to be incorporated together to have one smooth, efficient motion. For the muscle up, the goal is to start from a dead hang position on the rings and end at the top of the rings with elbows locked out at the top while supporting the body weight at the top of the rings. A lot of very technical small motions are needed to get this movement down efficiently. By freezing degrees of freedom, aka the joints, limbs, and body parts, I can break this movement down in order to coach a beginner or inexperienced athlete, or in this case, an athlete who has a base of strength but does not know the proper breakdown and mechanics of this movement to put it together as a whole. So let's get started. Becca is my demo instructor today. The first part of the body that will be frozen will be the lower body. Basically anything below the hips. The goal of this is to demonstrate proper pulling strength before moving on to the next piece. So the first thing we're going to demonstrate strength in is the ring row. Demonstrate the ring row. So in the ring row, she's going to start hanging from the rings and she's going to pull herself up. She's using the rhomboids, the lat muscles, and back down instead of free. So if she can demonstrate this without any faults, then we can move on to the next step, which is the strict pull-up. The strict pull-up is also demonstrating strength in the lats, shoulders, and lat rhomboid muscles. So she needs to be able to have proper pulling strength and stability in those shoulders. Go ahead. So straight body, pull up. Good, try one more. She's there, almost. Good. So luckily, the ring muscle up, that will be something that she could work on as a little bit of extra drills. Next, the athlete will need to demonstrate proficiency in the box dip or the bench dip. In this case, we're using the bench. So 3 to 5 dips, please. So this is going to demonstrate strength in the triceps and the front of the delts. Go ahead. Perfect. So this is going to be getting her out of the ring. The next one, we're going to do a ring support hold and the ring dip, which will also demonstrate strength in the chest muscles, pectoral muscles, triceps. So to get down to the bottom, just going to do ring dip. Yep. Push up, kick if you need to. So this is also an area that she can work on. There's also a kipping dip that she can do as well. So once athlete demonstrates proficiency in that area, we'll do a false grip from the low rings, the chest rings. She's going to lay back, get into a false grip, which is hanging on her wrists, and she's just going to pull straight to her chest. You're good right there. Yep, that's fine. And she's going to pull straight to her chest. Perfect. So down, up 3 times. Good. Good. That is going to help for the transition. Next, I'm going to carry my camera over to another part of the gym. I'm going to freeze the upper body and lower body and only work on the hip joint and hip movement because that is extremely important in this movement as in the muscle up as well. So we're going to start with a hip movement on the floor called a hip thrust. My client is going to do 3 hip thrusts. This is going to show a hip pop that she's going to need to use with her hips to get over the rings. Yep. She's popping her hips. That's all we're working is the hip joint here. So my client would do 3 sets of 10 of those. Then she's going to jump on the GHD, the glute ham device, and do a GHD sit-up, which is also going to help show how she needs to extend the hips and the knees as hard as she can in order to get over the top of the ring. So basically it's the hardest sit-up she's ever done in her life, or the fastest sit-up. She's going to lean back, extend the knees violently, and sit up. Make it faster. Up. There you go. So this is going to be a movement she's going to need to perform on the top of the rings. Next, we will then unfreeze the upper body while keeping the legs frozen and work on low ring transitions. So we're going to come back over here. Sorry, Professor, I'm all over the place. I didn't have a video recorder today. So First thing she's going to do is a hanging hip thrust. Let me get this set up really quick. All right, feet on, go on the far one, please. Yep. Put feet on the box. She's going to do the same thing she just did on the floor. Her hips are gonna follow the ground. She's just gonna pop her hips up in the sky. She's gonna feel weightless for a second. And so we're slowly transitioning to the low rings. From there, she's going to do her floor transition. She can do it from either one, it's fine. So she's going to drop below the rings, and this is just practicing her transition from the bottom. So she's basically doing the pulling motion, the chest to rings, and the GHD sit-up she just did, and she's putting it in together. Perfect. All the way up and over. There we go, good. One more. So she's taking that hip thrust and that chest to rings, and she's doing a transition. Next one is going to be the box transition. So now we're just making it a little bit more difficult and taking some body weight off by extending her legs out in front of her. And she's going to pull and come up over the ring. So it's just making it a little bit more challenging. So when she's ready to get onto the top of the ring, she knows what it feels like. Good. Two more. So that is a box transition on the box. So we're just slowly working our way up. All right. So from there, we're going to unfreeze the